All right, welcome back to the GT Industries channel, everybody. It is 2024. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday season if you celebrated the holidays. As you can see, Alex is in the background there, wandering around. Say hi, Alex.
Hi.
There he is. All right, so some of you guys have been asking for some audio videos in the comments of some of our previous videos, and we're definitely going to be doing some more automotive tech videos. We're going to be doing some more computer tech videos, maybe even some house videos, and possibly, and at some point later on this year, maybe even some boat restoration videos of some kind. So stick around, and hopefully we'll kind of cover everything we can. And let's go ahead. As you can see by the title of this, we're going to get started on a audio speaker installation on this 2007 to, I believe, 2016 Honda Ridgeline here. All right, so here we are with everything we're going to be putting in this vehicle today. So we've got some Rockford Fosgate speakers here. These are the 6.5 speakers. They are the three-way coaxial speakers that you can get. I'll leave a link to these in the description. So we got everything here, including a subwoofer system that we'll install in a different video, which is what that installation kit right there is for. We'll go ahead and do that in a different video later on. So keep in tune for that. Like and subscribe. And of course, the various tools that we have here. We've got some wires, a voltmeter, wire strippers, just various other things as well. Some of the stuff that I do want to note is that on the very far right hand corner there, you'll see we have some door adapters for the speakers on this vehicle. It does require those adapters. Again, those will also be linked in the description to Crutchfield as well. That's where we got those. And that way, if you're doing this exact vehicle, you can follow along, but the basic steps are going to be pretty much the same for every other vehicle as well. Inside of those adapters, we also have a wiring adapter that adapts the stock wiring of the vehicle to the actual speaker wiring as well. So let's go ahead and look at that. You can see it's got the stock connector on one end and the pigtails on the other end for connecting to a speaker. So that, along with the adapters and everything else you see here, is what we're going to use to install these door speakers. So let's go ahead and jump right into getting the door panel itself off. All right, so on the door, we're going to go ahead and first start off by removing the door panel itself. In order to remove the door panel, what you're going to do is you're going to, at least on this vehicle, you're going to take out some screws behind this handle here, and then once you've done that, you can actually go ahead and basically just pop the door panel off. Not every door panel is like this, so make sure that you look up your specific door panel whenever you're doing your speakers on your car, or whoever's car it is you're doing it on. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to pop off the panel that is inside this door, and then we're going to remove the two 7 millimeter bolts that are behind that little panel. That's going to let us take this handle out, at which point we'll come back and show you guys kind of what it looks like behind the handle. All right, now that you have the screws out and the panel out for this handle itself, you can actually come in here and pop the handle itself out. I'm going to go ahead and have Alex come in and zoom in here, and you can see on the back side there is this clip right here. This clip needs to be removed, or rather rotated out of the way, and the cable also needs to be popped out of this channel here where the green piece is. And once you have the green piece popped out and this white clip swung away from the metal piece will slide out and allow you to actually take the handle out. So I'm going to go ahead and have Alex reposition the camera here in a second, and we're going to go ahead and show you guys how that process works. All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to take this green clip here. We're going to take that and we're going to pop it out of the metal and plastic retainer that it is currently clipped into. You can typically use a flat blade to do this. All you have to do is put the flat blade under here, kind of pry up and work it around. It is a little difficult to actually get this process to function the way you want it to get it to come out. You do have to kind of manhandle it a little bit, and then eventually it does just pop out just like that. Now the next thing we're going to have to do is this white clip here. I'm going to turn this around. You can see, hopefully, that it is open on one side, and what you're going to do is you're going to push with the flathead to get that to kind of come undone. You can push on both sides, and basically that's what you want to happen right there. And now what we can do is take the metal and it pops right out. Now you can see the metal piece retracted back into the door. That's totally okay, perfectly normal. Just make sure that you don't lose that whenever you're in there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to remove the three Phillips head bolts here. So the first one's right here. The second one is over here. Hopefully you can see that. And then the third one is a little hidden up here in the top right corner. Hopefully you guys can see that as well. So go ahead and take all three of those Phillips heads out, and then we'll come back. All right, so now that we have all three of the Phillips head bolts out from inside of this area here, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to start removing clips. The clips are located all along the edge of the actual door panel itself. So you can start over here on the far left side, go all the way down, and around over to the far right side. The clips are on the bottom, they are plastic, so be careful when popping them out, hence why we have this tool here. This is, some people call it a crow's foot, some people call it a cat claw, some people just call it a pry tool. I don't really know the technical name for it, but it is a tool with a slot in the middle here so that you can go ahead and help yourself pry out all of the plastic clips without hopefully damaging them. So we're going to go ahead and pop all of those clips out, and then once we have those out, we'll go ahead and disconnect all of the electrical connectors on the back side. So I'm going to go ahead and get those clips popped out real quick and then show you guys what the back side looks like. One thing that I did forget to mention to you guys is that there is a screw underneath the door handle or underneath the door rest area. You go ahead and pull this little piece up, this trim piece, and there is a screw, it's a Phillips head, all the way down in the bottom of this. You do need to remove that in order to remove the door on this particular vehicle. Alright, so now that you have the clips on the bottom undone, you've got the screw undone in this little handhold area here. The next thing you want to do is you want to come over here and get your pry tool, your cat claw, your whatever you want to call this, and you put it behind this particular trim piece right here. There is a clip back there that you can kind of work around, and then you just pop that trim piece out. So we're going to go ahead and reposition the camera so you guys can see that process and get that out, and then we'll continue with the actual door panel itself. Alright, so first thing you do is you take your cat claw tool here. You kind of get it in the edge up here at the top of this trim piece. You slide it down a little bit, about 2 inches maybe, and then there it goes, pops right out. You go ahead and pull that up a little bit. There are some clips at the bottom here that you do need to be wary of. They do go vertically, or vertically instead of horizontally. So whenever you pop this out, you don't want to pull it out. You don't want to pry it this way. You just want to get the clip out just enough and then pull up on the trim piece itself to allow it to actually come out of the door. And that way you don't damage anything and you don't have to get new plastic pieces, because that is a common thing that happens, is people break these plastic trim pieces whenever they're trying to do these jobs. Alright, so now that we've gotten the screw out of the center of the door, we've gotten all the door clips popped off, we've got this trim piece up here popped off, the screws and bolts removed from this area, all you have to do is come in, put your hand on the handle like this, simply lift up on the door itself, and then pull it outward slightly. Don't pull it out all the way, because as you can see, there are electrical connectors on the backside here that do need to be removed. There is one singular connector down here, just like that, and of course you've got the push pin right here to release it, and then you've got one connector here along with a light at the bottom. Once you have all of that out, the door panel will swing freely away from the vehicle, and you can put it wherever you need to that is out of the way and safe. Alright, so once you've got the door panel off, the next thing we're going to do is remove this speaker over here. Now on these Honda Ridgelines 2007 all the way up to, I believe, like I said earlier, I think it was 2016, maybe 2015, they do have the speakers glued in. So the way you get rid of that glue or get rid of that adhesion, because it's not really glue, it's kind of like an adhesive foam, is you take your pick tool right here and you stick it in the top here and you kind of run it all the way around, all the way across the bottom, and all the way back around again, ending at the top. Now once you've done that, what you have to do is kind of gently pry out on the top of the speaker. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put my hand in here, pull out on the speaker a little, and then I'm going to take my 90-degree pick tool here and I'm going to push it down in the center of the top of this. And you can hear that there's a clip back there. Now what I did is I pushed that clip down and that released it and allowed the top of the speaker to come forward, or away from the door rather. Now once you have that out, do not pull on the speaker outwardly. Go ahead and just wiggle the speaker up and it pops out. The reason I say that is on the back side here, again, just like the other pieces earlier, there is a trim piece right here, kind of like a tab that does have to go upward vertically, and that is on both bottom corners along with a tab at the top over here. So now that you have that out, simply squeeze the side of this connector on both sides and wiggle it around. It does take it a moment. And there you go. Now the connector is disconnected and you have your speaker out as well. Alright, so now we are ready for the speaker installation. There are a few different steps we're going to take to actually install the speaker in this vehicle. You see here we've got our Rockford Fosgate three-way coaxial speaker, and if I flip this over, you'll see it has different connectors on the back here than what you would normally find on a regular vehicle. As you could see earlier, the gray clip that we took off of the old speaker does not clip into those two connectors. So that is why you need the adapters for most modern day vehicles. The other thing we're going to need specific to this vehicle is the adapter plate that allows us to mount the speaker into the door itself. You can see on the back side here, this one, just like the original one, has these tabs that slide into the bottom of the speaker hole in the door. And then of course it does not have the clip at the top. We'll show you how to install the screws that mount this piece to the door later. So first thing we're going to have to do in preparation for getting this speaker, this three-way coaxial speaker, into this adapter is we're going to have to remove all these little tabs on the inside of this as well, because this is not specifically meant for this speaker and this adapter. So we do have to modify it a little bit, and I'll show you guys how to do that over on the workbench. Alright, so we're now over at the workbench. I've got my die cutters in hand here. What we're going to do is we're going to use these die cutters to cut the plastic all the way around each of these tabs here. So I'm going to just go ahead and show you guys one of them. I'm going to show you one of the harder ones. So I'm going to clip this at the very edge here. I'm going to spin the adapter plate around, and you guys might not be able to see this very well, so I'm going to try a different angle here. And then I'm going to cut this one over here, this side over there. And then in the middle, we're going to go ahead and cut that. And you'll see, if you zoom in real close here, you'll see it went ahead and it did split. I know you guys probably can't see that too well. It's a little blurry, but it did split along that axis there. So now I can come in here with my hands and basically just peel that away. So discard that plastic piece, and you'll see there is a little bit of jagged edges through here, and all you have to do is take a file and file those down so they're nice and smooth. So one, they're not puncturing the speaker, the cone on the backside, and two, so your speaker actually does still correctly fit inside the adapter. We're going to go ahead and remove this tab here, this tab here, this tab right here, and finally another double tab over here on this side. Once you have removed all these tabs, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tabs total, then you will be able to mount the speaker, and we'll go ahead and show you that here in just a minute. Alright, so once you have the trimmed adapter piece, what you're going to do, and I've already gone ahead and done it just for time purposes here, is you're going to go ahead and butt it up to the back of the speaker, and you're going to go ahead and put not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 screws into the adapter piece as well. So you can see here's one over here, there's another one up here, there's another one over here, and the fourth one is back here as well. I will go ahead and say that one of the things you do kind of want to pay attention to is the direction. So you'll see the bottom of this adapter plate here, we've got the prongs that the original piece came with. So you can see those are at a 90-degree angle from everything, so you can actually slide this into the door and then use these 2 holes up here to secure it. But one thing I want to point out is that in relation to those, we have the speaker set in a specific direction, with it facing, technically I guess you could consider this the correct direction per se, because you can still read the words on the branding, and everything is in the upright position on the back side of it for the connectors here. They're not flipped around upside down, they're on the bottom. So that is where they should be. That way you can get everything connected correctly. So just make sure that the orientation is correct on your system and that you have everything in the right order and in the right direction as well. Alright, so once you have the speaker mounted to the adapter bracket, back on the door itself, I have these adapter pieces here. This takes the factory Honda wiring and converts it over to the correct wiring gauge and size and connectors for the aftermarket Rockford Fosgate speaker. To install this, it's very simple. All you do is you take it and you slide it together. Now they are connected, they're together, And now we can go ahead and install the speaker itself. To install the speaker itself, what you want to do is you want to grab it. You want to make sure that you have, again, your tabs are on the bottom. You want to hold it by the adapter bracket, and you want to grab these connectors and go ahead and plug them up to the proper spot on the actual speaker itself. This can be a little difficult to do because these connectors are kind of squished together. So once you get it kind of lined up, you will have to push a considerable amount of force to get it to actually connect. Once you've got it connected though, then we can go ahead and install the actual speaker itself. As you can see, this one's being a little bit difficult. There it goes. Now, make sure this wire here does get pushed into the door, and make sure that it does not get pinched between the adapter bracket and the metal of the door. You're going to want to go ahead and line those clips up on the back side, and it slots right into place. So there you go. That's all you have to do to get the actual speaker sitting in the right area. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a drill, and we're going to drill this hole right here and the other one on the other side. So I'm going to start with that one. All right, and that's all we're going to do. We're not going to go all the way through with it. Same thing on this one. And again, don't go all the way through with that one either. All right, so once you've gone ahead and slightly pre-drilled the holes, what I'm doing now is I'm going to take a self-tapping screw. This is a 8mm hex head self-tapper, and we're going to go ahead and again put that into these holes here and drill that in. The reason you pre-drill it is to help it center itself, so that way you're not, drilling off center or out of the way, or in a direction that may not let the speaker sit flush or line up. So we're going to go ahead and put the other screw in the other side, and then we're going to go ahead and reverse the process of what we did with the door panel and get everything put back together. All right, so now that you're putting the door panel back on, first thing you want to do is make sure that you plug in all the electrical connectors. Second thing is, when you're putting it back on, you want to make sure that the door handle release cable is not pinched or tucked behind anything when you're doing this. And then the final thing is the lock mechanism itself. You want to make sure that it's able to slide down or up through this hole here without any hindrance or anything like that. You don't want to break this, because then that becomes a pain in the butt later. So go ahead and just make sure you cover those three bases, and you should be good to go ahead and slide the door back on. And the way you do that is put it up at the top here. You might have to finagle the door lock itself a little bit, and we can do that with a pick here in just a moment. And then you just kind of basically set it down on the window seal, line everything up, and then you should be able to put the screw in this section down here in the handhold. Put the 3 screws back in here, the 2 bolts, and then, or the handle, and then the 2 bolts, and you should be good to go. So we're going to go ahead and get the door panel at least temporarily back on with the lock and everything, and then we're going to show you guys the reinstallation of the door handle itself. All right, now that you have the door panel back on, what you're going to want to do is make sure the lock is in the correct position. Then you're going to go ahead and bang on with your hand. I would not use a hammer or anything like that. Bang on with your hand the edge of the door all the way around to get all the clips to pop back in. And then you want to reinstall the long Phillips head screw in the door handle section, as well as the trim piece for that door handle, as well as the handhold, whatever you want to call this little area in here. Once you have all the clips and the Phillips head screw plus the trim piece for this installed, you'll want to get the 3 small Phillips head silver screws that you pulled out of the handle area earlier, and you're going to want to put those back in the handle area in here. Now, we're not going to show that part on camera just for ease of time here, so we're going to go ahead and get those back on, and then we'll show you guys how to install the actual handle itself. All right, now we have the 3 Phillips head screws back in the handle area here. So you can see there's one on the bottom side here, one on the top, and one on the other side as well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the handle itself and we're going to reinstall it. So you want to reach into the handle compartment area, pulling out the cable itself, and you want to make sure that the silver piece here goes into the white plastic piece on your handle. So we're going to slide that down into there. You can see that it does have the clip on it right here, so we're going to rotate that clip over, and we're going to pop it over the silver metal piece. It can be a little tricky, but once you get it, it just clicks right in. And then rotate the handle and snap in the green piece here. Once you've got that snapped in, all you do is you rotate it back and slide it into the door here. Inside of here there are 2 holes. There are 7mm, I believe, 7mm bolts that go in here. So you put both those back in, and then you'll slide the trim piece back into here. Alright, so now we've gone ahead and we've gotten everything installed on this 2007 Honda Ridgeline. Again, this process works the same for the 07s. Again, I think it's through 2016. So, same process. You just make sure that when you're done, you've put all the bolts and stuff back right, and you should be good to go. This has been another GT Industries tutorial. Stick around and like and subscribe if you guys want more content like this. The next video we do is going to be installing a subwoofer system in this same 2007 Honda Ridgeline. And that subwoofer system installation is basically going to go the same as any other subwoofer installation. So stick around for that. Again, like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys next time.